This won't be a walk in the park. Know why? Mel Gibson has spilled the beans on The Passion of the Christ 2, saying it's going to dive into hell and fallen angels. He's even shared his filming plans and thoughts on the perfect actor to play Jesus. Oh, and here's the kicker. Jim Caviezel is expected to return as Jesus. So let's break down everything we know so far about The Passion of the Christ 2. The Passion of the Christ 2 has been a bit of a mystery since it was first announced, but one thing's for sure, it's diving straight into the aftermath of Jesus' death. This includes how his followers coped during the 3 days leading up to his resurrection and the resurrection itself. Beyond that, not much was revealed for years. The project's been in the works since June 2016, according to Gibson's co-writer, Randall Wallace. But during an appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience, Mel Gibson spilled some big details about this very ambitious sequel. He's teaming up with his brother Donald Gibson and Wallace to tell a story that spans from the fall of the angels to the death of the last apostle, even exploring Sheol. Gibson also mentioned plans to start filming in 2026, calling the project an acid trip unlike anything he's seen before. I'm hoping next year sometime. There's a lot required because it's an acid trip. I've never read anything like it. My brother and I and Randall all sort of congregated on this. So there's some good heads put together, but there's some crazy stuff. And I think in order to really tell the story properly, you have to really start with the fall of the angels, which means you're in another place. You're in another realm. You need to go to hell. You need to go to Sheol. Gibson also confirmed the movie's title, The Resurrection of the Christ, and dropped a casting bombshell. Jim Caviezel won't be back as Jesus. De-aging him with CGI felt impractical, so they're going with a younger actor instead. Gibson's focus is on finding a fresh way to approach the story without being cheesy or predictable. He admitted it's a massive challenge, but said he's ready to give it his best shot. It's not going to be easy, and it's going to require a lot of planning. I'm not wholly sure I can pull it off, to tell you the truth. It's super ambitious, but I'll take a crack at it because that's what you gotta do, right? The original, The Passion of the Christ, is widely considered one of the best biblical epics, praised for its intense portrayal of Jesus' death and use of Aramaic. It did spark controversy for its violence and accusations of anti-Semitism, but Gibson proved his directorial chops with later hits like Apocalypto and Hacksaw Ridge. His next film, Flight Risk, is set for release in January 2025. For The Resurrection of the Christ, Gibson plans to tackle bold themes, bending elements from various parts of the Bible. While the timeline for filming has shifted over the years, a 2026 start could mean a release in 2027 or 2028. Whether it matches the critical acclaim of the original remains to be seen, but Gibson is clearly aiming to outdo himself with this sequel. The focus on Jesus' resurrection and fallen angels feels like the right move for The Passion of the Christ 2. Gibson's attention to biblical accuracy and ambitious storytelling suggests he's crafting something truly epic. With filming still a year away, there's a lot we don't know, like who's playing Jesus. But this project is definitely one to watch. More updates are sure to roll in as production gets closer. But as I said earlier in this video, this isn't going to be a walk in the park. Know why? Because when it comes to Enoch and all the biblical layers it brings, it's just too much to fit into one film. Let me break it down for you. According to 1 Enoch 7.2, the Watchers, a group of angels, became enamored with human women. They didn't just observe from a distance, they went all in, had relationships with them, and their offspring were these hybrid beings that corrupted humanity and the earth itself. Leading this celestial rebellion were Samyaza and Azazel, with Azazel being a standout troublemaker. He taught humanity forbidden knowledge, which sounds cool until you realize it spiraled the whole world into chaos. Enoch even calls him out for it, and God eventually sends Raphael to lock him up in the desert. The earth's corruption is pinned squarely on Azazel, as 1 Enoch 10.12 says, "All the earth has been corrupted by the effects of the teaching of Azazel. To him therefore ascribe the whole crime." Harsh, right? Here's the kicker. 1 Enoch doesn't just blame humanity for evil, it flips the script and blames these angels. That's a bold move, especially when most theology sticks to the idea that evil comes from within humanity. It even draws parallels with the idea of priests marrying impure women, which was a big no-no in Leviticus. The fallen angels become this cosmic metaphor for crossing forbidden boundaries, whether it's about power, knowledge, or marriage. And then you have 2 Enoch, where things get even wilder. Enoch climbs through the heavens, and in the second layer, he finds fallen angels imprisoned. He's about to pray for them, but stops because, well, he's just human. Later, in the 5th heaven, he meets more rebellious angels, called Grigori, who are sulking because they've fallen out of favor. Fun fact, their leader is Satanael, not Azazel or Samyaza. But just like in 1 Enoch, these Grigori defiled the earth, married women, and caused enough chaos to end up confined under the earth. Oh, and let's not forget the epic celestial coup attempt, angels trying to rival God's power. This ties with old Canaanite myths, where figures like Attar tried to steal Baal's throne. The longer version of 2 Enoch even expands on this, painting a picture of angels who fell because they dared to challenge divine authority. Now imagine trying to cram all of this into one movie. It's not just ambitious, it's terrifying. The depth, the lore, the symbolism, it's enough to make anyone nervous, and honestly, I'd be scared to even try. It's a cosmic acid trip of biblical proportions, and pulling it off would require a miracle. Who wouldn't be overwhelmed? As I said, one of the biggest updates about The Passion of the Christ 2 was that Jim Caviezel, who played Jesus in the first movie, was expected to return. That role was a huge milestone in his career, and since then, he's been in a mix of films and TV shows like Outlander, The Prisoner, and Person of Interest. He even stepped back into the biblical world for Paul, Apostle of Christ, as Luke. But now, Mel Gibson has dropped a bombshell. Caviezel is out as Jesus. Why? De-aging him with CGI would apparently cost way too much. This raises questions about other returning cast members since they'd have the same de-aging issue. That said, Maia Morgenstern was announced to reprise her role as Mary. Francesco DeVito was supposed to return as Peter, and Christo Gikov was rumored to be back as John. However, Gibson's update throws all of that into question, so the cast lineup seems uncertain for now. Fast forward to early 2025, Gibson confirmed that they're now aiming for a 2026 start for production and officially stated Caviezel won't be back as Jesus. Whether filming actually kicks off in 2026 is still up in the air, given all the delays and mixed updates so far. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Please like this video, share it with your family and friends, and subscribe to our channel for more updates. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below.